Here we are, the Daily Rant, 2/1809. It's me, Pete, back with you. Billy Berg sitting to my right, directly over. Now, we got a lot to talk about today. As you know, we're closing in on Wrestlemania time. So
It's still 6 weeks.
6 weeks, but this is when all the big storylines unfold and the drama that which is the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania unveils herself in all her majesty. Christian, come back to ECW. Came back to ECW. Let me correct myself. He's already thrown his name in the ring for the in the hat for the ECW title opportunity, which he'll get at Jack Swagger next week on ECW. He's pinned him last 2 weeks, beat him in a singles match, his return in a tag match last night on the ECW show. So really, he's being pushed on ECW as a face right now, which we know hasn't really worked in the past for him.
I wouldn't exactly call it a push. I mean, you're this big name coming back. They can't do it at a pay-per-view, let alone you're getting your big title match on a weekly show. They can't even give you that at a pay-per-view. I wouldn't call it a push.
No, and apparently the backstage buzz about the writing is that every big idea that comes up, the writers come up with for Christian gets nixed right away because Vince has no respect for him. He was quoted as saying he has no star aura about him. Vince said, I read that too, Vince did. He said he didn't even like his superstar, his headshot, his promotional photo. Vince said he thought it was the worst one of the worst ones he'd ever seen. He doesn't really care too much for Mr. Captain Charisma.
The instant classic.
Instant classic. NWA World Heavyweight Champion to ECW Champion, which back in the day that would mean something, but now not so much. So,
yeah. I just think Vince has some bad blood with him still after him jumping to TNA and then building his name. I'm sure he got a little bit richer of a contract this time around because of his name and what TNA is probably willing to pay him. So I think Vince just isn't happy with him as a businessman, not taking it, not so much in his ability, it's just personal at this point.
Kind of on a much smaller scale, the Vince Hogan feud, which is another one, brings me to my next topic. The rumor being it this year at WrestleMania, it's going to be the John Cena Hulk Hogan match that so many have clamored for. If Hogan agrees, can come to terms with WWE to do the match, which they've been in contact, I suppose, and this is because this is being tossed around more and more now. This is the scenario as it plays out, which they have right now. Hogan versus Cena at Mania 25. If not Hogan, then Cena's going to face Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. But if Hogan and Cena agree to go through with it, then Edge is going to face the Big Show because they already have a whole program written for that scenario to play out. Is this a good move for John Cena to actually get in the ring with a very, very much so slower Hulk Hogan than we've seen? I mean, he's bad.
Yeah,
he's bad.
I don't see what either one have to gain from this. I mean, they already did the icon versus icon thing with The Rock, and John Cena's not The Rock.
Not even close, sorry.
So I just don't see what Cena has to gain from it. I don't see what Hogan has to gain from it. It just seems like a wash. I say if you're going to bring Hogan back, bring him back against Jericho, because it'd be a good fit to this whole Legends come back for that one last time, because they can't stay out of the spotlight. Bring the biggest one of them all.
Yeah. And that's another thing I don't see. Like, I would rather see Jericho and Hogan than I would rather see Jericho and Mickey Rourke.
No.
That, to me, offers nothing. There's no good side for that. Like I said, we were talking earlier, Jericho has had a marvelous career. The man's wrestled in Japan. He's wrestled in Mexico, Canada. He's been in the big three. He was in ECW. He was in WCW. Now back to WWE. Twice fourth he's been in WWE. I mean, he's got nothing to gain from this. Mickey Rourke's not a wrestler.
No.
Roddy Piper said he's one of the boys now because he made that movie, but it's not. I just don't. I think the Mayweather thing was better than this could possibly be.
Rourke is as much one of the boys as David Arquette was a WCW champion. Yeah, technically, but no. I mean, where can they go with this? You either have one of your top guys get beat by an actor, or you just you're gonna put Jericho in this match against, again, an actor. I mean,
It
so
bears-
either A, Jericho comes out right and just fuels his ego some more, or B, he gets beat by an actor. How does that make him look as a competitor and your guys look as competitors?
It's a completely fruitless tree for both sides. There's nothing good that can come from it. Well, from Mickey Rourke's standpoint, he could say he won at WrestleMania, but okay, we're going to shoot through this. The tentative card for WrestleMania right now. You've already talked about Hogan and Cena. Triple H and Orton for the WWE Championship right now. Tentatively looking for Stone Cold Steve Austin's involvement in WrestleMania to be as the special referee for this match. Triple H and Orton have already proved they can show out in the ring good, so I'm looking forward to that, especially with Austin in the mix. Edge and Big Show, if that plays out, if the Hogan Cena thing plays out, Edge Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship, that's going to be a slow match, I think.
Yeah, I don't see that going over too well. I think with the way the card's looking now, a lot of people, you're going to start getting the who booked this chants that we've seen in the past, like during the Goldberg and Lesnar match that just turned out to be horrible.
Yep. Match with so much potential, and nothing came. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's going to be a good one. If that plays out, Michaels Undertaker. Undertaker's not going to lose, but look for both those savvy veterans to put on a magnificent performance in the ring that evening. It'll be a special match. Jericho and Rourke, I'm not going to waste any more time on that because it is a waste of time. Jeff and Matt Hardy that's going to be a knockdown, drag-out match. That'll be good. That could be one of the show stealers right there. I don't know exactly which one. I'm imagining Triple H and Orton will probably be the main event. If one of two matches right now, obviously Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker jumps out at me, and then Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy's the other one right now. Right now, out of what I have, that really jumps out and says this could be a fantastic match.
Then we still got the Money in the Bank match, which with them using that to start it off last year, I wasn't too sure about that. I mean, yeah, it gets the crowd into it, gets them going. It's kind of like how TNA uses the X Division as their start-out matches just to get the crowd into it. They don't need a bunch of big names as long as they got a lot of good action, a lot of heavy-hitting good spots. It just gets the crowd into it, but then it just sets the bar so high that it has nowhere to go but down for the rest of the card.
Yep, and that's what TNA's been losing in their buy rates now. Their pay-per-views have kind of fallen off because they put it all out up front, and then the main eventers are putting on shit matches. But hey, in the interest of time, we're going to cut it off. Next time we talk about TNA and the problems backstage with the aforementioned main event veterans, Booker T, Kevin Nash, what's going on back there. So far, this has been the Daily Rant. Pete Daddy, Bill Berg saying, peace, bitches.